the parish of St James is a crystal ball into the likely future of neighbourhoods with long-term unemployment. Most jobs disappeared 5 years ago here. Families who could move have, and those who couldn't live here, some in streets where no one at all has a job.
What is it like? What are the problems?
Just can't get anything. I mean, last week we didn't... I think we had £1 to last us all week, and we couldn't get any money off anybody. It was terrible. You know, it's just... Not that we spent any extra, it's just that, you know, the kids growing up and you've got to get more food. You can't keep cutting back on that all the time. I mean, we don't buy any meat or really anything like that. It upsets me because I have to buy second-hand things for them. They are good things, but I you know, want to feel I can buy what I want for them and I can't. So it gets me down as well when, you know, when you see all the children all dressed up. And I know, I wish I could have it and I can't.
Poverty is one effect of long-term unemployment. For the young, it's boredom and a feeling of emptiness, often ending in drug addiction. And who pays for that?
Good number of the youngsters are on drugs round here, so they're robbing, they're up to no good. But these are the houses they're robbing. You know, they're not like where people have got a few bob. It's the people round here who have got nothing. They're all in the same boat round here. Nobody's got any money, or they wouldn't live here. But these are the houses that are getting broken into by the lads round here. I mean, once our David gets to an age where he wants to go out, and he's, you know, you've got to let him out. The only people he's mixing with are the people round here. If he stays round here, there's more of a chance he's going to end up on drugs. Right. But obviously, well, them, yeah. We're going to do as much as we can to prevent it. You know, we're going to be more watchful towards them. But you can't always get them, you can't watch them 24 hours a day, and we can't keep them prisoners.
I started on drugs when I was 16, well, hard drugs when I was 16. Before, it was cannabis at the age of 14. And I went on heroin when I was 16, 17. I was pregnant. I had my baby. And afterwards, I was going with a heroin dealer. And he supplied me habit. And he went to jail, and I had such a big habit. I had to go into prostitution to keep me habit. And jail, I've been to jail a couple of times for robbing people to keep me habit, because there was no other way. The second child was born a heroin addict, and it's not nice at all.
This area is full of stories like these. No one wants to know. The Midland Bank has pulled out, Barclays is only a pay-in point, and financial institutions have redlined the community. Only the Church of St James and an under-resourced local authority provide support here. St James has been involved in this centre for the past 3 years. Last year, with Church Urban Fund assistance, it has expanded to offer social work services, a library, welfare rights advice, and a place to meet.
We've become a partner with other community organisations in that centre in an attempt to do some little thing to help with the many problems that there are in the area. And to our great satisfaction, the place is being very, very well used.
So what would life be like if the church and the centre weren't here?
Very depressing. I don't think I'd carry on without it. I wouldn't. But since I've known Elizabeth and gone to church and know I've got somewhere to go, I know I've got something to look forward to, whereas before I had nothing.
It's somewhere for her to go and take the kids, and also she has been suffering from depression. So I think that's to do with because of being stuck in the house and me being under her feet, being unemployed, nothing to do. And it's given her, you know, friends which she can talk to, and she's been seeing the social worker up there who's been helping her with her depression.
The centre is even tackling the problems of drug addiction, prostitution and AIDS by enlisting the help of former addicts.
There's a lot of prostitution in the area, and there's a lot of young girls now down the docks, and there's nothing for them, you know. So we're looking at, and we're going to do it, to go down and give them Durex, the same, because they won't buy them, or they haven't got the money to buy them, or they can't be bothered to go to the places to get them. So us here, well, we're looking at taking Durex down to them. And a very good friend of mine was murdered not long ago through doing prostitution, only to keep a habit, a heroin addiction, because there was nothing else for there to do. It's the curious age where they starve, because there's nothing else for them. There's no jobs for them, nothing, man, nothing. And the parents accept it now as well, just like unemployment, and they sit back and they accept it. And we're not to let them accept it. Don't want them to accept it.
So what can you do to stop that? I mean, that almost, if you like, indifference, acceptance. What can you do? What can the centre do?
Bring the parents out and tell them they don't have to accept it. They can fight it. They don't have to accept it. We all stick together. They can fight against this.
A lot of people would say that this is work that the local authority should be doing.
Well, I once worked for 7 years for the local authority as a social worker. In fact, that was the job I held before I became the vicar here. And I know that the local authority just doesn't have the resources, quite honestly, and I think they acknowledge it themselves, to cope with many of the things that we cope with.
The problems in towns like Birkenhead are deeply entrenched. St James has had to be strong and work very hard to make any headway at all.